Hello everyone, Whovian 101 here, and today we're once again in the Stanley parable. Yeah, close the door. So, yeah.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Come on, say it. Say it.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Come on, get up there. Get up there. Get up. I want you to get up there. So, I want to try and get up to this ending here. I've got up on the chair now, come on. You can do it. Move! Oh well. Right then, let's have a look round. Nope. Sorry if it's a bit laggy, it's just can't up into my PC.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, I'll follow this time.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Nope.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Right then. Broom closet. Let's go in.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical melody of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby?
Yeah.
The person at this computer
Ben?
is dead. He or
Ben?
she has fallen prey to
Oh,
any number
he's
of
dead.
your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability.
Well, hey
of
guys,
your
Duty
species.
Craft here.
Please
I'm afraid
remove
that
their corpse
Whovian
from the
101
area
is
and
now
instruct
dead,
another human to
so
take
I'll be
their
taking
place
over his
at the
channel,
computer,
everything he's
making
ever
sure
owned,
they understand
and basically his whole life.
first-person video game
Player
mechanics
2,
and
hello?
filling them
Are
in
you
on the
there?
history of narrative tropes in video gaming.
What?
So that the irony and insightful
what are you doing?
commentary of this game
nothing,
is not
Get
lost
out.
on
Get
them.
out. Now.
All right. When you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Sorry about that, everyone. Don't know what happened there. And Dutycraft decided to take over my channel. Anyway, out we go.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
No, it's still me, and I like the broom closet.
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids.
Yep.
Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
I'm out. Anyway. Oh, there is a monkey right next to me. It's called Dutycraft.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No. Crouchy, 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 crouch. Red light! Red light!
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
True.
None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
What the heck?
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
No.
And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming!
This is all a dream!
This is all a dream! Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found
Shut
an
up.
answer, an explanation.
Ah!
His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Nope.
And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
True.
So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Fly, fly.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
What?
And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Huh.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley,
What?
who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Wait.
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Oh, he's asleep.
My
I guess
life
I am
is
taking
normal.
over his channel.
I am normal.
Fantastic!
Everything will
Parties
be fine.
for me all day. Uh-oh.
I am
Oh no,
okay.
he's asleep. More parties. Oh no, he's
Awake. Huh?
Oh, no parties.
Shut up!
Stanley began
I want
screaming.
to...
Ah!
Please, someone wake me up. My
Help
name is
me!
Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real.
Shut up!
Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better, whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.